How far can the human body go? Discover 10 extraordinary destinies marked by extreme obesity. Between world records and heroic transformations, these stories of courage and survival will change your perspective on human mental strength in the face of illness. Number 10. Juan Pedro Franco, The Path to Redemption. Originally from Mexico, Juan Pedro Franco held the title of the world's heaviest man for years, reaching a critical weight of 595 kilos, approximately 1,311 pounds. His condition was not only the result of an unbalanced diet, but also a serious accident at age 17 that literally broke his metabolism. Following this physical trauma, his body began to store fat uncontrollably, plunging him into a spiral of forced sedentary behavior. Confined to his bed for nearly 7 years, his survival hung by a thread. His daily life was a constant struggle against asphyxia and organ failure. However, Juan Pedro's story is, above all, one of an iron will. Thanks to unprecedented medical mobilization in Mexico and a series of complex bariatric surgical interventions, he began a radical transformation. The process required years of discipline, strict diets, and physical therapy to teach his body how to move again. Today, having lost more than half of his initial weight, he weighs about 260 kilos, approximately 573 pounds. He has regained a precious autonomy, the ability to walk and shower on his own, simple acts that represent a monumental victory for him. His journey is a powerful testament to the possibility of taking back control of one's life, proving that even in the most extreme situations, medicine and human determination can perform miracles. Number 9. Carol Yeager, A Struggle Against Trauma. Carol Yeager holds the sad record for the heaviest woman ever recorded, with a weight estimated at 725 kilos, approximately 1,598 pounds, at her peak. But behind this staggering figure lies a much darker and deeper psychological reality. Carol often shared in rare interviews that her eating disorders were not a simple addiction, but a response to severe trauma experienced during her childhood. For her, obesity had become physical armor, a protective barrier against an outside world she perceived as threatening. This protection became her own prison. In 1993, her health deteriorated so much that her hospitalization required the intervention of 15 firefighters and emergency logistics to extract her from her home. During her clinical stay, she achieved the feat of losing 236 kilos, approximately 520 pounds, in just 3 months through rigorous calorie restriction under constant surveillance. Unfortunately, this rapid loss was not enough to repair the internal damage caused by years of pressure on her vital organs. Her body, too strained by kidney failure and heart complications, eventually gave out. She passed away in 1994 at the age of 34. Carol Yeager's case remains in medical annals as a poignant reminder that morbid obesity is often the symptom of mental and emotional suffering that requires psychological care just as important as physical treatment. Number 8. Khalid bin Mohsen Sha'ari, A Royal Intervention. The case of Khalid bin Mohsen Sha'ari in Saudi Arabia is one of the most documented examples of large-scale medical success. At only 20 years old, Khalid weighed 610 kilos, approximately 1,345 pounds. His obesity was such that he was incapable of any movement and lived reclusively on the second floor of his house. His story took a national turn when King Abdullah himself ordered his free hospitalization, covering all logistical and medical costs. Khalid's transfer to the capital, Riyadh, was an engineering operation. Part of his house was demolished to allow a crane to extract him on a specially designed bed before being transported by a military medical plane. What makes Khalid's story exceptional is the rigor of the follow-up that ensued. Under the aegis of a multidisciplinary team of 30 specialists, including surgeons, nutritionists, and psychologists, he followed a strict protocol. Thanks to this massive intervention, he achieved the historic feat of losing more than 540 kilos, approximately 1,190 pounds, over several years. Today, Khalid weighs about 68 kilos, approximately 150 pounds. His transformation is considered the most radical and successful weight loss in modern medical history. He now leads a normal life, perfectly illustrating how total medical support and individual will can reverse a destiny that seemed sealed. Number 7. John Brower Minnick, the giant of history. John Brower Minnick remains in the global medical archives as the heaviest man to have ever lived, with a peak measured at 635 kilos, approximately 1,400 pounds, in the late 70s. His case was particularly complex for doctors at the time because a huge part of his body mass was not just fat, but massive generalized edema. His body retained phenomenal amounts of extracellular fluids, a condition exacerbated by congestive heart failure. His care at the University of Washington Medical Center required extraordinary means. It took 12 firefighters to move him, and 3 hospital beds had to be welded together to support his weight and stature. Despite the severity of his condition, John showed incredible resilience. During a prolonged hospital stay, while on a 1,200 calorie per day diet, he lost over 400 kilos, approximately 881 pounds, which represented the largest documented weight loss at that time. However, the struggle against the edema remained incurable. After his discharge, his health continued to fluctuate, and he regained much of the lost weight in the form of fluids. He passed away in 1983, leaving behind a weight record that has not been matched for over 40 years. His story highlights the complexity of metabolic diseases, where weight is not just a question of caloric intake, but also of profound organic dysfunctions. Number 6. Patrick Duell, the half-ton man. Patrick Duell, a native of Nebraska, became an emblematic figure in the fight against obesity in the United States in the early 2000s. Nicknamed the half-ton man, he weighed 486 kilos, approximately 1,071 pounds, when he finally called for help. At that time, Patrick suffered from a cascade of pathologies: uncontrolled type 2 diabetes, severe hypertension, and heart failure that threatened his life with every breath. He had been a prisoner in his bedroom for 7 years, unable to stand up. His life changed when a hospital in South Dakota agreed to take on the challenge of treating him, despite the immense surgical risks. After a complex transport in a reinforced ambulance, he underwent emergency gastric bypass surgery. The first months were a resounding success. Patrick lost over 200 kilos, approximately 440 pounds, regaining the ability to walk and even drive his car. His journey, documented by the media, served as a wake-up call for public health. However, Patrick's case also illustrates the chronic and relapsing nature of obesity. Despite his initial success, he struggled throughout his life against his old eating habits and complications from his multiple surgeries. Patrick passed away in 2016 at the age of 54. His legacy lies in raising awareness about the limits of surgical interventions if they are not accompanied by very long-term psychological and social support. Number 5. Rosalie Bradford, From Shadow to Light. Rosalie Bradford's story is unique because she holds 2 opposing world records, that of the heaviest woman at a given time, followed by that of the greatest weight loss for a woman. Reaching 544 kilos, approximately 1,199 pounds, Rosalie had fallen into a deep depression following her mother's abandonment during her childhood. She used food as an emotional anesthetic, isolating herself completely from the outside world for 8 years. The turning point occurred in 1987. Touched by a letter of encouragement from fitness guru Richard Simmons, she decided to fight back. Starting with simple hand and arm movements because she could not move her legs, she progressively increased her physical activity. With exemplary discipline and a draconian diet, she lost an incredible total of 416 kilos, approximately 917 pounds. Her physical transformation was accompanied by a mental one. She resumed her studies and became an inspiring public speaker. She traveled the world to motivate those suffering from obesity, advocating for empathy and perseverance. Unfortunately, the physical after-effects of her past obesity, notably complications related to surgeries aimed at removing large amounts of excess skin, caused her death in 2006. Rosalie Bradford remains an icon of resilience, proving that even after hitting rock bottom, it is possible to climb back toward the light. Number 4. Andre Nasser, a new start in Australia. Andre Nasser was long the heaviest man in Australia, reaching 468 kilos, approximately 1,031 pounds. His case highlighted the dangers of extreme food addiction in a consumer society. Andre consumed more than 12,000 calories a day, mainly in the form of fast food and sugary drinks. In 2015, his situation became critical. His health was declining so rapidly that rescuers had to cut through a load-bearing wall of his house to extract him and take him to a specialized medical unit. This humiliating and terrifying moment was the necessary electroshock. Under strict medical supervision in a specialized clinic in Sydney, Andre began a total rehabilitation. He had to relearn how to eat, replacing junk food with balanced meals, and followed a rigorous physical training program, initially in water to protect his joints, then in the gym. In 1 year, he lost nearly 200 kilos, approximately 440 pounds. Today, Andre is a transformed man. He has become a passionate health advocate, using his experience to educate young people on the dangers of addiction to sugar and processed foods. His journey shows that lifestyle change, though difficult, is the absolute key to longevity, and that the support of the community and the medical corps is essential to breaking the cycle of obesity. Number 3. Samantha Mason, the trap of digital celebrity. Samantha Mason presents an atypical and modern case that raises important ethical questions. Initially, she used her obesity to make a living as an internet model, participating in a subculture where she was paid to eat in front of a camera. This activity, while lucrative, led her to a dangerous weight of 365 kilos, approximately 804 pounds. Samantha was caught in a system that encouraged her self-destruction for the entertainment of others. However, medical reality caught up with her. Suffering from chronic pain and respiratory difficulties, she realized that this lifestyle was leading her prematurely to death. She then chose to document her transition toward health, participating in televised weight loss programs. By 2022, she had succeeded in dropping to approximately 205 kilos, approximately 452 pounds. Her journey is a warning about the excesses of certain aspects of digital culture that can monetize and validate harmful behaviors for health. Samantha works today to rebuild her life away from these influences, emphasizing that a person's true value does not reside in their digital image, but in their physical and mental well-being. Her story is one of vital awakening in the face of modern pressures. Number 2. Paul Mason, the ups and downs of addiction. Paul Mason, a British citizen, weighed up to 508 kilos, approximately 1,120 pounds, becoming at the time the heaviest man in the world. His obesity was the symptom of profound emotional distress linked to unresolved family issues. For years, the British health system, NHS, spent considerable sums on his home care before he benefited from bariatric surgery in 2010. This operation was an immense initial success, allowing him to drop to 114 kilos, approximately 251 pounds. This spectacular weight loss opened new horizons. He moved to the United States, found love, and underwent surgeries to remove more than 20 kilos of excess skin. However, life brought new trials. Following a difficult breakup and the stress of his new life, Paul unfortunately relapsed into his old compensatory eating habits. His story is crucial because it demonstrates that surgery is not a permanent miracle solution. Obesity is an ongoing psychological battle, a form of addiction that requires daily mental maintenance. Despite his relapses and partial weight regain, Paul continues to share his story with honesty, showing that the path to healing is not a straight line, but a series of constant efforts and self-forgiveness. Number 1. Dzambulat Katokov, the broken destiny of a child. Dzambulat Katokov, originally from Russia, tragically became famous at the age of 6 as the world's heaviest child. At that age, he already weighed nearly 100 kilos, approximately 220 pounds, and possessed impressive physical strength for his age, which propelled him into the world of wrestling and sumo. His family, and particularly his mother, initially saw this size as an asset, a genetic predisposition to becoming an elite athlete. However, international medical experts were extremely alarmed. By age 9, he reached 146 kilos, approximately 321 pounds. Despite repeated warnings about the pressure exerted on his growing bones and juvenile organs, managing his weight remained problematic. Although he tried to regulate his mass in adolescence to pursue his career as a wrestler, the internal damage was already profound and irreversible. Dzambulat passed away in 2020 at only 21 years old from complications of severe kidney failure. His case is a tragic and necessary reminder of the crucial importance of preventing childhood obesity. It highlights the responsibility of guardians and society in protecting children's health, reminding us that excessive weight during growth is never a sign of strength, but a major vital risk. Number 11. An unexpected moment. Here is the story of Mark and Sophie, two individuals whose daily lives are out of the ordinary. Sophie has learned to adapt to the unique physical challenges that life has imposed on her. Every afternoon, she seeks calm in the park, facing stairs with great serenity and remarkable inner strength. For his part, Mark enjoys sunny days on the coast. His imposing stature often attracts curiosity, but he prefers to focus on the well-being that the sea air provides him. For him, the beach is a place of freedom and reconnection. Through their respective journeys, they remind us of the importance of kindness. Despite obstacles and differences, they move forward with courage, proving that every person deserves respect and dignity, regardless of their appearance or their personal battle. These destinies remind us that health is a fragile balance. Behind every record hides an intense personal struggle. Thank you for following us. Take care of yourself and your loved ones, for empathy is our greatest strength.